And this is really special. The date stamp on this one, and then these are like literally my first memories. Like I don't remember this, like being so young. I don't really remember this. I think I was still a little too young to like be able to memories. But 01.
You were 9 years old, I believe, when we took that, 9 or 10.
You still have that bugle tube. That's your same bugle tube.
That's my good luck bugle tube. I bugled in a lot of elk with that bugle tube. So this is when you were 11 years old.
Yep.
Africa, your first big game African animal was a warthog.
First big game animal ever, not just Africa.
You're right, it was 11 years old, and it was a really good warthog too. So, but look how little you are compared to me standing next to you.
Our first double.
Yeah, this is our first double in Africa. You were 11 years old.
Miles.
Yep, we have our PH and our trackers. This is in Zimbabwe.
The famous Sean Gores thumbs up.
There's Sean Gores thumbs up. Look at the mustache on that guy.
What's really starting to become my goal is the memories made along the way. And I really see it with the people that introduced me to hunting, my dad and my uncle, and seeing them get into their age of not being as mobile. And I start to realize, my superheroes aren't as super. And they're humans. And they start to get old, and they may not be able to get up that mountain. They may not be able to go to the next ridge. And you start to see that, and you realize that you cherish those times more. And you look back on the times that you're pushing for that tangible goal when you should be focusing on that goal that's, you can't put on a shelf. You can't hang on your wall. That's starting to be my shift in focus.
I took Marcus out with me since he was 4 years old. I would put him on my backpack, let him walk when he could walk, and carry him the rest of the way, but I wanted him to understand what it was like to be out in the woods with nature. It would give me a time to be able to cherish with my son one-on-one.
My introduction to hunting was from my father, Sean, and my uncle, Hanre. Tote me around the woods in Oregon while they archery elk hunt. They are avid elk hunters, and so at a young age I got to just kind of follow them around the woods or be stepped into a pack and taken around on some pretty cool experiences. They are first generation immigrants, moved to America, and so they did not have hunting in their background, and so they picked it up when they were young, and it just became kind of one of the anchors of my youth was, getting to be outdoors with my father and my uncle and their best friend, Chris.
When I was first introduced to hunting was through a neighbor. My family did not hunt, my parents did not hunt, and my neighbor, a very nice fellow by the name of Ken, he was into hunting, and he didn't have any kids, so he took me under his wing, and the first thing he did was he bought me a Daisy BB gun and taught me how to shoot it and how to be safe with a gun, and from there it just took off. I absolutely loved going out in the woods with him and following him around to try to understand what it was all about. I've got a lot of memories, and I bank a lot of my memories, and I don't look at a hunt as a success of what I kill. It's what it takes to get to that hunt, go through that hunt, and the memories of the people that I meet along the hunt. The most memorable hunt that I've got to date so far that always sticks in my mind, and I think about all the time, is taking my 11-year-old son, Marcus, to Zimbabwe. We spent 28 days in Zimbabwe, and it was just a game changer for both of us as a father-son. We're bonded with that memory of the experience that we had in a different country, chasing different animals.
I'm going after my Super Slam, and Grand Slam Club Ovis is the award giver of the Super Slam. So it's all 29 big game species in North America, successfully harvesting all of them. We're Shiras Moose hunting in Utah. It's the moose subspecies that's in the lower 48. So these moose are in Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, a few other places. The reason why it's so hard to do is because there's so little tags that are given. And this is my second year applying. I applied with 1 point and I drew this tag. And so that enough is like winning the lottery. I wanted to bring my father along, and I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to tell the story. And so we loaded up, got ready, set this hunt up with Doyle Moss with Mossback Outfitters, and really got it tuned up to be a very non-pressured, easygoing. We weren't out to kill the new state record. We weren't out for trophies. It was more of an experience of getting to do this hunt and do this hunt with the people that I got to do it with, being my father. And so we got to Utah, met up with our outfitter, drove to the ranch that we're hunting here. And the unit that we're hunting, where I drew the tag, is about 90% private land. So hunting on the public land here is very difficult to be successful in this moose hunt. So we set it up to show up on a Friday. We got in early enough to get up and glass in the evening. And we started glassing, and we'd find a couple elk here, a couple bulls, a couple deer, found a moose. And then it was almost like a light switch just flipped, and then it was, there's a moose, there's a moose, there's a moose. And I think we counted like 18 or 20 moose on day 0 of glassing. And so we made the decision on day 1 to go back up there first thing in the morning and see what we could find, and then decide if we're going to move or try and find a different place to go glass and see if we can find a different bull. We ended up going up there after a short, quick breakfast and turning up quite a bit of moose. Small bulls here, cow-calf, cows here, cows there, and very vocal. You had cows calling, you had moose responding, and we ended up turning up this bull that was about as high as it could have been. And the bull had, probably a cow in heat that it was protecting, as that was his mate for the time, and fending off smaller bulls. We looked at the bull from where we were, 1,600 yards away. Nice fronts, may not have had the paddle length, but had really nice points all the way. Good, respectable bull, what I was looking for. Went back down to our spike camp and made the decision that we were going to go after that bull very light. And from across the canyon, we were going to have my father and my guide's father up on the mountain watching it unfold. So we went up with just my guide and I, so Skylar and I, up the mountain, almost up above these moose, and we were made the decision to cut across where we believed they were, up the ridge and crest just over, and the moose should be there. We're talking within 50 yards, 60 yards. They're just on the other side, maybe 120 yards. And we start working our way down this ridge to get open and clearing, and we'd walk 5 yards, stop, look around, make sure we weren't going to blow anything out of there. And Skylar takes 2 more steps, and I grab him and pull him back and point at a calf that's about 15 yards in front of us feeding. And then cow comes to kind of protect her young, or follow her calf, and the calf comes up and turns and is looking straight at us. She's got her ears forward, trying to figure out what's going on. And moose don't have the best eyesight, so they work off of sound and smell. And the wind is swirling up there, and her ears went from straight forward to straight pin back. And pin back is not a good sign when you're around any ungulate species or animals. They think there's danger, something may happen. So now we're in between the calf and the cow at 15 yards in from each of them, and the cow knows something's wrong. And luckily, the calf kept feeding down, the cow relaxed, the wind turned back, so we had the wind at our face, not going towards the moose anymore. She relaxed and kept feeding. A younger bull came from the underside after the calf. The younger bull had its chin on the back of the calf, and the bull that we were after was protecting this cow and calf. We can hear him from in the thicket and starting to work his way out. And it got to the point where we could see antlers through the trees, but we couldn't determine if that was the bull. So we needed him to step out. And he was moving so quick, the bull in the brush, that to try and protect that calf, that it was going to come down to some quick split-second decisions. And we ended up taking a couple steps to our left to be able to open up our shooting lane. And that bull steps out, and I see the fronts on this bull, and I'm like, if this is not the bull we were looking at, this is still a great bull. I was about 95% sure it was the same bull, same location, but overall, just a beautiful bull. And stepped out, gave me a clear shot, and I ended up putting one in him at 25 yards. And he took it, and I put another one in. He took the second one, tipped over, and that was the end of hunting moose at that point. But it all happened in a matter of 7 seconds, 8 seconds. 25 yards, scope of 3. I mean, it's nutty. It's just crazy experience. I mean, this is the third of the moose species that I've hunted. First one I shot at 20 yards in my long john. Second one I was bow hunting, and the one day I didn't bring my bow, killed that moose at like 55 yards. And now this one at 25 yards. No rangefinder needed. Just put the crosshairs on him, and it was perfect.
I told you it's a good bull, huh?
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Smashed off, but X-Service will fix it. You just won't score. Can't score it now, but that's a stud.
Nice front.
Yeah, dude.
Nice
Easy little shot.
all I saw was black hair. I was like,
I said, I hope his scope's turned all the way down.
all the way down. I made sure.
I didn't have my dad with me as I pulled the trigger. He wasn't, whispering at me, okay, take 2 steps left. Like I'm, 13, 14, 15 years old, like he would when he was teaching me, how to hunt. So to have him have the same emotions that we had when he was by my side when I was younger, to now across a canyon, and then to come up and get to experience us, he got to put hands on the moose, and we took a ton of photos and just, got to experience success together as a team, as a father and a son, as best friends. It's special. It's a really special thing.
I forego my own hunts to be with him on these other hunts to achieve his 29. And it's a blessing because I'm living some of those memories that I've had through him now. It's about me passing it on. And when I can pass it on to not only my own son, but other kids to get them in the industry, that's a blessing because I've done my part. And whether my days are numbered on this earth, whether they stretch out or they don't stretch out, I've been blessed.
There's more to hunting that most people even realize that aren't hunters. The camaraderie, the relationships, the memories that I have had the chance to make and that I will continue to make with my friends, my family, my father. You can't get those anywhere else than on the side of a mountain.
Couldn't imagine doing another one of these once-in-a-lifetime hunts with my dad, and getting to spend some more time on the mountain with him. These times are precious, and you don't know when you're going to have your last one.
I'm a very proud dad. Marcus is not only a great hunter, he's learned how to become a great hunter through the assistance of myself, my brother, and friends. But he's also learned on his own, going to Russia on his own, going to Alaska on his own. But besides being a great hunter, he is a great human being and has the biggest heart. He's following his dad's footsteps. And what we give back, the most important.